Hi Steve, we're back in Prem 15's action. It's been 2 months since the last Prem 15's game. Let's look back a little bit at the last few cup matches, and of course that fantastic final victory here at Sandy Park. What did that mean to the squad? What's that done for kind of emotional levels and reflecting on winning in front of this crowd? What was it like for you?
I think reflecting on it, it's probably a bigger achievement than last season, because we'd never have said this at the time, but we the expectation was pretty high in terms of us winning it last year, because we were pretty much fully loaded. While everyone else had players away at the Six Nations, we had all our Americans, all our Canadians, our Japanese, our South Africans. They were all available, so we were pretty much fully loaded last year. So, and you saw from the score lines, we were probably expected to win it last year. We were far from expected to win it this year, and I think the pool games probably backed that up. You know, they were a real grind. We got turned over here against Worcester, rightly so. They were the better team. We sneaked to win at Gloucester in the last sort of 10 minutes. So we knew we were going back largely to that same group that played the pool stages. And you know, we were hopeful rather than optimistic, I think. And then second half at Bristol, that's a bit unfair. We got a really good first half performance at Bristol in terms of we managed the conditions. We were probably the second best team in that half, but we actually got in at half time leading. And I thought second half we were exceptional, and I thought some of the youngsters really stood up. And then I think that gave us a pretty significant confidence boost going into the Saracens game. But we knew it was going to be tough, and you know, within 7 minutes we're a try down. We've got a player in the bin. We're defending our goal line, and you're looking at it and going, this could be a really tough day. But again, some of our senior players stood up, but just as pleasing, some of our youngsters stood up. You know, if you look at the performances of girls like Danny Priest, Katie Buchanan, during those two games, they were brilliant. And it obviously, I think the other one I would mention would be Niamh Orchard coming off the bench. She gave us impact both times off the bench, and great experience for those girls to play knockout and finals rugby and experience winning. So it was brilliant. I think a fairly significantly bigger achievement than last season. But yeah, the crowd were better than last year as well, which seems mad because they were unbelievable last year. But the one thing I'd say for the fans is, as amazing as they were here for the final, they were unbelievable at Bristol the previous week. So they made that game feel like a home game, and that will have been a huge boost for our girls. So, as always, they're incredible.
Looking ahead to Saracens again this coming Sunday, it's been a bit of a choppy season. You know, with internationals have been in and out. Obviously, it started with the World Cup. How do you keep momentum going for what is a really long campaign, and with a squad that has changed, you know, that fluctuates quite a lot throughout the months?
Well, I think winning builds momentum, and obviously we've managed to win those two cup games that you know, I said we were hopeful rather than optimistic going into those games, and so to get those wins, it keeps a buzz, and that buzz keeps that little bit of momentum going. But it's challenging. Like, you know, you go back to the start of the season, and I think we had 17, 18, 19 girls away at the World Cup, and you know, whether they played a huge amount of rugby at the World Cup or they didn't, there's a huge emotional drain on a World Cup. And to start the season that way, then come back into a run. I think we had something like 9 Prem games in 10 weeks. Then some of them have got off and played Six Nations, and we've had this period of no Prem rugby. We've had the Cup. So it's been a case of trying to make sure the standard in training has stayed as high as it possibly can, and that's certainly happened. As I said, I think having a couple of good wins keeps a good feel and keeps everyone buzzing, which is really important. And we've got a common purpose. You know, we've got one trophy. We want another one. We're under no illusion that it's going to be, you know, equally as tough as it always has been to try and win a Prem, but that is the goal.
Looking at Saracens specifically, they will have a lot of their Six Nations stars back for this weekend, I've no doubt. What are you expecting then? There's going to be some kickback from losing the final here. They're going to want to get one over on you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's the champions away from home, so it's it's probably the biggest game of the season. And we've had the final in particular was an unbelievable game. I know, granted, there was probably what you would consider frontline players missing from both teams, but even our senior players were coming off the field and go, that is as tough a game as we've played in. So it's a massive game. I don't think it's season defining. I don't think it's it will necessarily play a huge role in who ends up winning this competition, but it's an opportunity for both teams to lay a marker down and get a performance and a statement result. So that's our aim. I'm sure it's their aim as well. But I think we're probably going to get a humdinger, which is exciting.
In terms of the squad itself, you've got some international players coming back into the fold. There have obviously been some fantastic performances from some of the younger girls during this cup run. How do you bring these, not that they're two separate groups, but bring these together into a squad, looking forward to these next 4 or 5 matches, perhaps hopefully 6 matches remaining in the country?
We pick week by week, and we pick the team that we think is best suited to win that game. So yeah, like you said, it probably does feel to some degree a little bit like 2 groups. So we need to immerse those 2 groups together, which we've tried to do. And obviously when selection comes out and the squad goes public, you'll get a pretty good sense for where we are in terms of merging those 2 groups. We had some youngsters that really stood up over that cup period, and we want to reward them. For no other reason other than they've absolutely earned that opportunity. So what's been great about the cup is it's allowed some younger players to start to establish themselves more as frontliners. And as a coaching staff, you're trusting those players starts to build, and that's a really important element of young players coming through. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting day on Sunday, but we're excited about the team we're putting out.
Well, we can't wait for it. It's going to be a fantastic match up there. Best of luck, and we'll see you there.
Cheers, pal.